part two. I didn't finish my first message, so I was interrupted. So excuse me. This is part two, and we're gonna start at bullet number 4, which is be about your business. Woman, you must be about your business. And if you have a career or skill or trade, share it with the world. Now, a lot of you don't even know your gifts, don't know your talents, don't know your skills, don't know your abilities. You trying to be copycats selling lashes or weave or this, rapping, or it's more lanes out there. Bottom line, I mean, some people don't see the value in these corporate jobs and stuff like that. But I won't say that's what you should put your eggs in when you talk about be about your business, because business is really your own aspiration, should I say. And you don't want to really get to the point where you kind of just like, oh, if I'm a teacher, that's all I'm gonna ever be, or oh, if I become a nurse, that's all I'll ever be. Like, I think it's more to the human than just one little career that you can do. Now, you can love that, and that could be all you want to be, and there ain't nothing wrong about with that. But that should be what your focus is when you say I'm being about your business. You should want to advance that as far as it can go. Like, if I'm a nurse, I want to be a doctor, and I want to be a this type of doctor and that type of doctor, and I want to be a neurosurgeon. You shouldn't settle. I just wouldn't advise to settle, because if a guy gonna value and hold you in high esteem, he gonna have to see you about your business and leveling up. And that's how he gonna want to keep you, because he ain't gonna want to lose you, because you're doing so much good for yourself. And so all this can be reciprocated. Don't get it twisted. You can say, well, I'm looking for this in a man. Well, okay, that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with you saying, well, I'm going to be about my business, and I'm not going to worry about a man, because they ain't value. They ain't giving the value that I want, or they don't have the value that I want. That's good. That means you can work on these traits even the more and make sure you are covering them all and being the best you can be. That's good that you feel that way. So don't settle. Like I said, these things are gonna be said over and over, because they kind of work together. It's how you become a well-rounded person, because you develop these traits within yourself, and so you become a better person. Always seek to understand more about what goods you bring to the table and what value you add to the culture. If you don't notice these things, if you are not paying attention to what you bring to the table and how valuable you are to the culture, then you just won't see yourself as that. They call it BITCH, or the baddest. You won't see yourself like that. If you don't think you bring nothing to the table, and don't say no, I bring this to the table, or I bring up my body to the table. Really? Your body's supposed to sit across the table? No, you gotta bring something tangible, something outside of just yourself for a second, and say, I'm gonna bring, like, not yourself, but your looks. I'm gonna bring more than just my looks and what's between my legs. I'm gonna bring some value. I'm gonna change some stuff. I'm gonna bring some money in. I'm gonna bring peace in. I'm gonna bring happiness in. I'm gonna bring laughter in. I'm gonna bring business in. I'm gonna bring colleagues in. I'm gonna bring connections. I'm gonna bring health. I'm gonna bring love. Bring something other than just your what you got between your legs, because we can get that a dime a dozen. We can pay for it. We can do all kind of stuff. So if you think that's all you need to bring to the table, you will not get the man that is for you. Point blank, period. And be steady when business increases and positive things start happening. Vice versa when negative things start come along. So to that point, some people, they start to succeed and they start to level up. and they get above their means. If they let it go to their head. And women, when this happened to y'all, the ego that y'all have is so ridiculous. And it's so hard for y'all to come off that pedestal. And it's really hard for anybody to come off the pedestal. But when you are there and you meet a guy who could be a phenomenal guy, he could be a great guy. But if you feel like you have to be head and heel above because you made it or you got some money or some status, it will it will deter and repel every good man. Because we don't need you to be the top dog. We don't need that. We need you to reciprocate it between us and like have that energy of knowing we can be better and we can do better. But when you let success go to your head and allow you to believe that I can never fall, it's just it'll repel men in a sense where it's like you gotta know, even when business ain't going good, you still valuable, or you still worth it, the fight is still worth it. And that could be anybody. This is really a general statement. It could go both ways. It could go for men and women. But it's something you just want to develop and have and cultivate so you can use it in the proper season, in the proper way. When you start to get success, you ain't just trying to, abuse it, Some women who get successful without the help of a man, and one thing that happens, and you'll see them. It's a lot of celebrities who got all the money and successful, but don't got a man, don't got a husband. Now you could say you don't need one. I mean, by all means, but don't chase men. Don't want love and security. Don't want somebody to stay around if that's how you feel. Cause you just basically saying, well, you don't need a man because you got successful on your own. Well, what you just gonna keep having sex? What, you just gonna live your best life by yourself? Well, if that's the case, ain't none of us need to get married in. Everybody should be doing the same thing. Nobody should be in relationships. There should be no point in relationships. Because if you get successful on your own, you don't need nobody. Right? So that's the mentality that you are approaching when you say, well, with success, I don't have to be submissive or whatever the case may be. But like I said, on the contrary side, when you're not successful, don't demonize yourself or demoralize yourself as if, well, I'm only validated if I have success or if I have a bunch of money. That's not true. A guy can see your value. You can be not successful. He can see your potential. He can see you can make him better. And he got money and he'll accept you at a place where you're not, where every at that level of success individually that he is at, but he willing to bring you on a ride. That you see that perfect example where you see that a lot is in sports and athletes. Athletes marry women to not so successful individually, but they marry a woman who got certain principles and certain criteria that they can enjoy, even though the woman does not really have a big success level in her individual life. And so the last point that I wanted to make for this is be hopeful in the work you put in, even in the early stages. I can't stress that enough, really. Like when you trying and when you doing the right things, don't get discouraged. A lot of females, you know why they get discouraged? They see other girls doing this and doing that. And they like, dang, I want this. I want a man like that. Or I want to be in this situation. Or I want to be in this relationship. I want to be taking trips. You gotta get yourself up there. I don't care if you talking about just being promiscuous and being that type of woman. You still gotta keep your weight right. You still gotta get surgery on your body if that's what you want to do. You still got to do all that stuff. So you don't really win just by, just by, you know, tomorrow or some happenstance. You win by being intentional. And I keep telling you, don't get discouraged in the little small steps it take to get there. Because everybody got to go through stages. I don't care what it is. You, it's a powerful quote. Well, it ain't a quote, but it's a powerful thought process. Don't ever envy anybody because you don't know what it took to get them where they at. They could have made some sacrifices. They could be about to walk into the biggest trap of their life. Don't envy people. Stop envying people. It's not, stop envying women, should I say. It's not gonna, it's not everybody who get into something. That's why you see, oh, they look happy in their marriage, millions of dollars and millionaires, and then you see them divorced and separated. 2 kids, 3 kids, like Kanye and Kim K. Like, like they got all this money, all this success, but they still ain't making it work. That means success and money and trips and all that stuff do not define happiness between two people. It does not. So don't put your eggs in that basket or all your eggs in that basket. It is a beautiful thing when that happens, but it does not dictate whether the marriage is or the relationship is going to be long sustaining and successful, long lasting and successful. So that's the last point on that. And the next point, number 5, learn to control the atmosphere. And this is important. Yet again, I mentioned this a little bit in the other video, that you have to learn to control the atmosphere. Know yourself so people don't misuse your energy. You got to know who you are, or people will take your energy and use it for their gain. And see, I see that happen to celebrities. Now, of course, I don't have no validation to talk, obviously, because I'm not a celebrity. But I'm talking about people I watch closely, and I see they don't even got real supporters. I mean, the women successes, they don't really got real supporters around them, because somebody has done manipulated their energy and use it for their gain. And now they are a artist or an actor or whatever, but they only gonna get means if they do whatever they say to do, the directors or whatever. You done become somebody guinea pig for success. You done become somebody guinea pig with your energy. Come on now. That's not that don't help. That don't help you. And so you gotta be intentional about the things that you're doing, and and learning how to let your energy be full. Like I represented some things in this well, I mentioned some things earlier in the last video, where I said about knowing your worth and stuff like that. Because if you know your worth, people can't just misuse your energy. They can't just take advantage of where you weak. And so that, of course, you need a man to sometimes kind of point out where your values are, or people in general to point out where your values are, so you can you not use it, or well, I shouldn't say, you should use it but not misuse it in a way where it's kind of ricocheting in a climatic way. Like, you don't want that to be the issue. So you have to kind of be able to control the atmosphere. Realize you're an asset and not a liability. You gotta realize you're important, man. That's all I can say about that. You really have to realize who you are. That takes time. That takes working on yourself. Take patience. It takes being intentional, having integrity, being about your business. It takes all of these things I've been mentioning to know your worth. And so When you do that, you'll realize when you go in a room that I'm not just some piece of meat for everybody to eat on or bite. I'm actually more high value, high class than what people make me appear to be. And there's gonna be a bunch of people who just try to put you in that box. But I'm telling you, when you know who you are, you won't allow it. You can do so many things to avoid being put in that box, but it's just not taught. It's just not learned. It's got to be learned behavior. And so that's why I'm giving you this stuff so you can be intentional about where you're trying to get to in life and how who you want to be in life. And so my next point is always give your best impression, which kind of kind of helps with that. It's like give your best version of yourself. I'm talking about smiling, being charismatic, being like influential, comical, making people laugh, making people smile, making people feel good, uplifting people's spirits, being the good energy in the room, giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's a guy, good example, a guy who may be like this type of guy who just don't get much women or something, and he kind of want to give you a compliment. Just encourage him. Just be like, oh, thank you. You didn't have to say that. Accept $1 of flowers from him or something, just to show him you care and set your boundaries. Like, I think it done got to the point where women so full of themselves. A compliment is just like a breath we breathe. Like, you don't know, some people are really stepping out of their comfort zone to really uh, approve something about you. And we done took compliments and put them in such a cliche box that it's like we don't have a sensitivity for people who really are genuine. And so I think that's another point. I don't know if that has to go with what I just said, but that is very important into really understanding and putting on your best impression. And don't look for attention or approval from anyone. Just go back to what I just said. Just because somebody complimenting you and doing all of this, you don't have to look for the approval. That you don't need that to validate who you are. You accept that because of what you're doing to be the best person you can be. That's a result of you leveling up or just being presentable or being your best self. That's just a byproduct of it. And so don't speak clearly and don't be afraid to explain yourself. Now, I think this come when stuff that hurt us, or and women, stuff that really bothers them or bothers y'all, and I feel like sometimes y'all don't want to speak up on it because of the thoughts that would be projected against you or about you or whatever. And sometimes it's very much a need to even if you gotta pull that person to the side or be real with that person. I think that's when arguments come into play with between male and female. But I've seen girls, man, they hood and they ain't afraid to check you. They don't even care. They'll fight you. They know niggas who gonna fight you. They ain't care. They gonna tell you how it is. And I met those type of females, and it's nothing really wrong with some that sometimes. It's just you can't always be like that because it make you look like you crazy or antagonist. But I wouldn't necessarily say you gotta be like, oh, if a guy say something to you, you gotta be like, oh, blah 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 blah, f you, this that and the third, or blah blah blah. That's not ladylike in a sense. Like, let your man handle that, or either if you don't got a man, just excommunicate that person, distance yourself from that person, because at the end of the day, once you make your boundaries clear and you set a standard for who you are, people shouldn't just be trying to walk all over you. They only walking all over you because you lost about who you are. You doing this and you're doing that. You variance. And then you say you ain't no hoe, but you doing whole stuff. Like it's stuff like that that make you a target. And sometimes that could lead to you being offended. But at the same time, like I said, you gotta be clear and intentional. If that's who you are, be clear and intentional. I like that interview with Kevin Samuels and Brittany Jenner because she at least admits to the things she do and her activities, and she's okay with it, and she's okay with guys knowing that's how she is. I can accept that because if she want to change, she know what she got to do. But it's the ones who play both sides of the fence that gets in these scuffles and little mini arguments that cause, you know, the wrong things to be reflected and reciprocated. So I think you have to be very clear about who you want to be or who you. That's how you control your atmosphere. You can control the atmosphere like that, but that's really how you control your atmosphere. And don't let your emotions drive you. Oh, moment of silence. Don't let your emotions drive you, man. So many people are driven by their feelings. Oh, if I don't like you, I'm gonna treat you a certain way. Or if I don't like you, I'm a act out. I'm gonna act out of character. If I don't if you bother them, it's it could be male or female that make you get in your feelings. But when you allow somebody else to control your emotions, you lack self-sustaining ability. You cannot restrain yourself. Because soon as somebody says something to you you don't like, or something about you don't like, it's all hell breaking loose. People talk about people every day. People talk about me every day. I might not even hear it, but I know they're talking. You think I'm gonna let that bother me? You think they're gonna let me that put me down? You think I'm gonna just sit up here and keep going through that? You don't think every person who's successful don't have haters who are constantly saying bad stuff about them? That's the only way they can bring you down sometimes. So what I'm trying to say about a man in this situation is you don't want to be the type of woman who is always controlled by her feelings, because in an atmosphere your man got to deal with you coming home stressed out, mad, or if you really got a man who is doing the stressing you out or making you feel emotionally distraught, now you can't, like, you got to recover from that and heal from that before you go to somebody who actually might care about you, and then you still bring what feelings you had in that to this, and it just never boats well in life. So you have to be intentional about letting stuff go, and like letting your actions do the talking for you, letting your success do the talking for you, letting your goodness or your character or your value do the talking for you, and stop letting people, control how you feel or think. And that's something that you got to practice. That don't come easy. I know it don't, because I didn't get over that easily, because people will constantly talk about you. You got to realize, well, it never ends, and then you can begin to start making steps to better yourself, because your critics, those people are really your critics, your best critics. They make you work on yourself to be your best self. So you need haters. Regardless of what anybody say, haters are necessary. Because they'll make you stay on your toes. They'll make you not want to fall. They'll make you not want to be weak, sorry, shameful. They make you step your game up. And so I appreciate my haters. Thank y'all. I love y'all. But anywho, the last bullet point for this topic is learn to control your inner self. And this goes right to where I've been just talking about. Don't let things easily get you out of character. I just really was talking about this, so you should understand what I mean when I say that. Do you do yoga and meditate, or find a good book read, or a good read in general? Because what'll happen is, when you put in the right thoughts in your mind, you regenerating the good and the peace. You're regenerating the energy that you need to level up. You're elevating yourself above the negative in your mind. And you taking what negative thoughts would be there and begin to put positive things in there. The biblical quote goes, the our idle mind is the devil's playground. When you're not putting nothing positive in your mind and you constantly in the negative, what's gonna happen but negative? You just gonna think negatively. It's not gonna bode over well, is what I'm trying to say. So you have to be very intentional about getting educated, or like I said, doing yoga and meditating, thinking peaceful thoughts, thinking happy thoughts, thinking, well, I'm gonna find a husband one day and we're gonna get married and we're gonna just go on boat trips and we're gonna take flight. That's good stuff. I don't call it fantasizing. I call it imagining yourself where you wanna be. So manifesting your thoughts into reality is very helpful. Yoga is good for the body to align yourself, get peace and balance. You working on you actually, it helps with your blood flow, because when you stretch and you do yoga, that's why we stretch in the morning. Because at the end of the day, we are letting the blood flow through our most outer points of our body, and yoga is necessary. It's not necessary for that, but it is a good component for doing that. And harness the good you have inside. That just means when you do something good, keep doing it. When you see yourself elevating, keep going. When you see yourself bettering yourself, keep doing it. It's gonna begin to grow and grow and grow until it becomes a habit to be a certain way. And it's not just, oh, I'm trying so hard to do this. No, it goes in autopilot after a while. You won't always be fighting to be sane or to have your sanity. It comes a time where you just know who you are and you ain't got no setbacks. You're gonna keep going and you're gonna keep running and you're gonna keep flying, you're gonna keep elevating, whatever you want to call it, you going up, 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 up. That's the key to that. And make good on your commitments. Make good on it. When you say, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times a week, or I'm gonna work on my body, or I'm gonna eat healthy, or I'm gonna do this, when you set them goals, make good on it. Don't just say, I'm gonna set these goals and then fall asleep on yourself. You sleeping on yourself. You better than what you are. If you can set goals, you better. You better than what you are today. If you can set goals, you are better than you are today. You just not working towards it. You got to go. You got to try. You got to fight. Get dirty. Don't be afraid to get dirty. Everybody got to do this. And don't think you some special case. I don't care what the circumstances that surrounded you. Don't think you are a special case, because everybody got to fight for their sanity, man. Know that. And don't let your past define your future. That's it. Don't let your past define who you are. I just said it. You better than who you think you are. So don't let your past tell you who you are. Don't let your past define you. Your past is only a part of you. Your future is where you are supposed to be. And you can't live in your future and you can't live in your past. You have to live in the present, because the present is a gift. And you got to keep progressing. Use each day. That's why we gracefully have each day, so that we can elevate and elevate and elevate. It's people getting sicker. It's people dying. It's people struggling. It's people who ain't got information. People who ain't got a phone. People who ain't got access to certain stuff. People who in prison. It's all kind of scenarios. You have no excuse to cry about your circumstances. You have zero excuse. You got to get up and start moving, start doing stuff, start running, start making something happen. And this is Power Talk, man. I hope y'all have a blessed day, man. I just want to see people elevate, see people come up. That's why I'm doing this channel. That's why I keep giving this info. That's why I keep going for the best in myself, y'all helping me elevate. Cause I ain't no really no motivational speaker, so to speak. But I feel like it's a thing that's needed. I could be all religious and whatnot, but I don't think everybody understand that. So I had to go where people can understand and people can grow and people can receive new information and ultimately find the person that they want to be with in life and be a partner and start a family and begin to grow and expand and pass their essence on their inner spirit on to the next generation. So y'all be blessed, y'all be empowered, and keep staying on your grind.